Hey everyone, it's Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys a brand new 2020 album review. And today we're going to be looking into the new album from the band Ingested entitled Where Only Gods May Tread, which was released today under Unique Leader Records. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Ingested, they're a death metal band hailing all the way from Manchester, England in the UK, and these guys have been around since 2006. And I've been a fan of these guys for about 4 or 5 years or so. I remember hearing one of their songs and I was like, God damn, this sounds sick as fuck. And I went and checked out all their other albums, and they've pretty much been clicked with me. And they've been putting out their albums since their debut album, which came out in 2009, entitled Suppressing the Boundaries of Human Suffering, which is a great album. And the last time I saw them, but back in February, they actually played the whole album in full, which was great. And yeah, and it was around that time, and then in 2011 they dropped their second album, Disruption. I feel like that was around the time where they kind of like went with a little bit more of a deathcore approach, which I don't really consider Ingested deathcore. I just consider them just straight up brutal death metal. I know they kind of like lumped in with that title, but and around that time in 2013 they also released the Revered by No One, Feared by All EP, which is, I mean, I had the digipack reissue of Surpassing, and that actually like has the whole EP as bonus tracks. And then in 2015 they dropped their third full-length album called The Architect of Distinction, it was called, which is, yeah, and that was a pretty good album. Then in 2018, their last album, they dropped the Level Above Human, which is pretty good. And then last year, they released a little mini EP called Call of the Void, which when I first heard that EP, it kind of sounds a little bit different compared to what I've heard previously from Ingested. And here we are with the band's fifth full-length album entitled Where Only Gods May Tread, which came out today. Does this kind of live up or exceed what Level Above Human or even Call of the Void EP has? In my honest opinion, it definitely has. I feel like Ingested's going in a different direction. There's some songs that actually sound a little bit more melodic, which is kind of weird for them being a death metal band. But overall, I kind of like them. Like, I feel like Ingested for me, does not disappoint. They're just so goddamn relentless. Let's just talk about like the vocals. Like Jason Evans' vocals, in my opinion, just he sounds a lot more brutal and just more clear and more articulate with his voice. Like he definitely has like his growls or screams are just more powerful and just heavier. And just like the way you could definitely tell he's singing, like the way he enunciates it while doing the growls is just fucking amazing. Which is one of the best things that are really impressive for me for most death metal bands. The guitar work is pretty tight. Sean and Sam, forgive me if I fucked their names up. Their guitar playing in general on this album is pretty tight. Like the riffs that they just come up with and is just fucking great. The bass wise, because last year their bass player Brad Yoler left for some weird reasons. I don't know. They didn't even announce it, but they even told him they left, which is weird. But handling bass on this album is Dominic Grimard, who played in Ion Dissonance. The bass was pretty audible. You could definitely hear it well in the mix, and the drumming overall it's just fucking great. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things off is Follow the Deceiver, which right from the get-go, this song just kicks you right in the teeth, and it just has like a great breakdown to start it off, which is kind of nuts, and just some sick just slams that will just wreck your body when you first hear it, which is really just a great way to start off this album. And then next on the album is No Half Measures. Now this song just right from there just hits you in the face like at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and Jason's vocals on this track just sound so unhuman, and he's a beast. In my opinion, I feel like he's one of the most underrated death metal vocalists ever. His vocals are just so goddamn sick. Then we go into Impending Dominance, which has some really great riffs, or tremolo picked riffs, which goes well with sort of like the fast drumming and blast beats, and Jason's vocals pretty much sound really clear here, and it's just a great breakdown in the song. And then we go into The List, which this band pretty much shows while being heavy, they can also add like a little bit of like depth to their sound and a bit more dark vibes overall, which can sound equally just amazing and disturbing at the same time. And then we go into The Burden of Our Failures. Now this song has a guest appearance from Vincent Bennett of the Acacia Strain, and he's one of the few guests on this album, and I just love his like overall contribution with just his like howling like vocals is just great, great. Pretty much adds a little bit of I don't know, just like uniqueness to the album, if it's the right word. So overall, it's a good song. Then we go into Dead Seraphic Forms, which just fades right in, and this song just doesn't waste any time, and it just doesn't let up at all. And just some sick double bass drumming and just some insane riffs. Then we go into Another Breath, which starts off very bleak, slow, and atmospheric. And tempo-wise, it's very mid-paced, and this song has a guest appearance from Kirk Weinstein of Crowbar, and it's around 4 minutes where it goes into a slow part. All right, and then Jason's vocals sound very just black metal a little bit, and I sort of like get up the vibes a bit with this song. And then we go into Black Pill, which is just an absolute banger of a song. And this song features Matt Honeycutt of the band Kubla Khan, and his vocals pretty sound good here. Forsaken Desolation. This pretty much shows a band which are just this pretty much is another good song. It's just really just dark and disturbing, kind of just similar to The List. It's another good song. And then the album closes with the epic Leap of the Faithless, which is I think probably the longest song this Ingested has done. It's pretty much 9 minutes long, and it pretty much kind of like reminds you of stuff from their EP they put out last year called The Void, which is just insane, just some very just extreme and just slamming, and it has, which we thought would be, but instead it just gives us really just an emotion behind the song, and really great melodic arrangements and very good breakdowns in mid-tempo. Now overall, it's a good song. Now overall, Where Only Gods May Tread by Ingested is a great album, so if I have to give this album a score, I'd probably give this a solid 9 out of 10. So yeah, that's my review of the new Ingested, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the album, and I'll see you all in the next video, and as always, keep it metal.